All right, guys, welcome back to another video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about installing CheckPoint Firewall in our environment. So if you guys are new, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you guys are returning, let's have some fun. So in this video, we're going to continue from our last video. We downloaded everything. We got everything installed, like VirtualBox. Now what we're going to be doing is installing the firewall and getting that all configured and up and running. So let's jump into our desktop and get moving on that. All right, guys. So here we are on my desktop. So if you remember, let me go down to, not that, let's go to Documents, CheckPoint Files. We have our image here. So what we're going to do is create a new image. So let's go ahead and create new. I'm going to name it checkpoint-fw1, okay, for firewall 1. And that's fine for me. And this is going to be Linux, and I want to do other, I guess, yeah, Linux 64-bit. Okay, that's fine. So let's go to next. And remember, I want to use 16 gigs of memory, and I'm going to do 3 CPUs. Okay, and I'm going to do, remember, 200 gigs of space, okay, and that's fine. So now we have this, so let's go ahead and make sure everything is good. Before we start it up, let's go back into settings. This is what, I always do. And let me make sure, let's go to our first one. So I did use Oracle. I want to use the same thing. So let's just use Oracle here. Oracle 64-bit. Okay, just to have it the same. All right, so 16 gigs of memory, 3 CPUs, and all this stuff. So what we're going to do, I'm going to change this later, and you'll see why I want to do that. So let's go ahead and, keep edits. All right, so now what we're going to do is double click on it, and it should ask us to browse out. We can also mount it, but there's always a million ways to skin a cat, right? So it's going to ask us for an image, hopefully. There we go. So now we can hit this down, other, and now we can go ahead and go to our checkpoint, hit open, and mount and retry, and we should see it come up now. Here we go. Let's X out of here. All right, so now we can go ahead and install Gaia on this system. Okay, let's hit install. And if you want to get out of it, you just hit the right control and we can get out of it. So let's exit out of here. And now we'll just have this load up everything and give this a moment to do its fanciness. And we'll give this a second to load up. And this is why I think you should have somewhat of a decent machine when you're doing these labs. And just so you can have it, some horsepower behind everything. And if this is your first firewall, this is fun. It's really enjoyable to learn different technologies. And the reason why I'm doing some checkpoint, because I may go for a checkpoint certification. I have never done any checkpoint certs like this. I think it's CCSA, Checkpoint Certified Security Administrator, I think it is. And I always wanted to get that cert, so I might do it just for, grins. All right, so now you should be prompted to this screen. We can hit OK here. English for me, so we can hit Tab and hit OK. So right here we have System Swap, System root, and logs. So here I want to do 40 gigs, 40, and then I want to do 40 here, and that should leave us with about 119. Yeah, that's fine with me. Excuse me. And then we can just go ahead and tab down and hit OK. And we could put a fancy password. Okay, hit tab and hit OK here. So if you remember, by default, on a checkpoint firewall, the default gateway or the default IP is 192.168.1.1. In my case, it's going to be .100, if you remember, right? So I'm going to do .100, and I'm not going to put a gateway. Okay, I'm going to not put a gateway, and I want to hit OK. Okay, and yes, I want to continue, and we'll let this do its thing. And if you have any trouble, please feel free to hit me up on Discord or leave a comment in the description below, and I can try to get back to you as soon as I can. But if you go to Discord, I think that's a lot better because there's many people in there that can possibly help if you're having any trouble. But if not, you can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. Discord might be the best bet. So we'll let this do its thing, and then we'll resume once it continues. All right, so the installation is complete. So now you can see 192.168.100.1. This is how we're going to be able to access that firewall. So let's just hit reboot. And then once it reboots, we'll see and make sure we can get to it and log into it and all that good stuff. And this might take a second. Remember, you just have to be really patient because it is in a virtual environment and all that good stuff. So we'll give this a few moments and we'll let this reboot and log into this bad boy. In my case, I have AMD processor, so it just says that, but it will boot eventually. I don't know why it does that. In my case, I guess I do know why because of the hardware, but if you have the same problem, don't worry, it still works. That's why I tested it before I started recording these videos, so it's all good. All right, so we can see here, login. Remember, the default username is admin and our fancy password, whatever we did. And here we go. We could do show version all. And we can see that we're running R81.10. So we're going to stop here. This is how you get the firewall installed, and then we'll continue configuring it and all that stuff. So we'll stop here. Thank you so much for viewing. Until next time, have an awesome day, folks.